Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mother's Diary. And today I'm bringing my amazing guest, Mrs. Gloria. Say Mickey, yeah. So we are discussing something so interesting about what breastfeeding. These days a lot of people find it difficult to breastfeed. Some people find it is an old thing to breastfeed. People just want to do something that is very easy for them. But I'm here to my guest, so for us to discuss like what is the cause of mothers not wanting to breastfeed, because a lot of people just go on using formula. They feel like they don't want to feed because they just want their breasts to be um okay without any disturbance. But anyway, I just have a chat, like a discussion with my guest. So let's welcome our guest in the building, Mrs. Glory. How are you today? Are you all right?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, you're welcome. So before we start our discussion today, I want to ask you one or two questions. So how was your motherhood journey? Yeah, when you were pregnant, when you breastfed your kids, how was it? Was it so rosy? Or you feel like, this is a challenge for you? Just tell me brief about yourself, please. Thank you.
Um, what would I say? It's been how many years now? It's been 3 years, going to 4 years since my last pregnancy, and I don't know if I could remember vividly all the challenges. It's easier to talk about it when it's still fresh in your memory.
Yeah.
But now I have a break of 4 years now, so it's a bit not so fresh in my memory. But from what I can remember, it wasn't an easy one, especially because I am someone who likes my night sleep a lot. At some point, I was finding it difficult to sleep because you don't even know the best position to put yourself to sleep.
Yeah.
So that one I would remember vividly because it was a problem for me not being able to have a good night's sleep.
Oh.
Pregnancy comes with its own difficulties, a lot of nauseating feelings, a lot of vomiting and spitting here. I didn't do any of that of those, but I still, my pregnancy was a bit smooth. It wasn't as difficult as some people, go through their own pregnancy. I
Wow.
must say, I had a smooth one. Yes, I had a
Wow.
smooth one.
That's so amazing. That means you are rocking your life, while being pregnant, right?
Yes, I was actually rocking, and I was not even, where you have start having cravings for food
Yeah.
and things. I didn't have any cravings.
Yeah.
There was no form of cravings. I was just my normal self. I wasn't eating more than my normal eating standard. So it was a normal pregnancy for me. I just felt bloated. Like what the doctor even said to me was like, you just look like somebody who just chop belly food come here, say in the pregnant.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was it.
Pregnancy journey for every mother is just unique. Some people, oh my goodness, they just don't want to be pregnant anymore because the trauma, the stress, oh my gosh, it's so killing. Why some people, their own pregnancy, they just enjoy their life. So I think it just varies. Oh, nice to hear about your journey. And the breastfeeding, were you able to do exclusive breastfeeding? Oh, yeah.
About breastfeeding, that's it's it's funny how people are very concerned about you have to breastfeed for exclusively for 6 months, and for some people they are not able to do that. For me, based on my experience, I think after 6 months,
Yeah.
when I now introduce formula or other form of feeding for my child, my breast milk automatically ceases. My breast milk automatically ceases. It doesn't flow anymore. I don't know why it's like that, but I don't exceed 6 months. When I'm over 6 months and I've started introducing other feeding patterns to the baby, I notice that my breast milk doesn't flow anymore as such. So both of my children stopped breastfeeding, on their own. It just stopped, and there was no pain. There was nothing. I didn't feel any pain whatsoever. They just stopped, and we just flowed into normal feeding, just like that.
Wow.
So for me, it depends on what works for you, for the family, what works for the mother and the baby. It doesn't matter whether you drink formula milk or the baby takes formula milk or the baby takes exclusively breast milk. Both babies, the most important thing is that let both babies be fed healthy and let them carry out all the nutrients that is required for their growth, and then they'll be fine. As far as the mother is happy and the baby is happy.
Oh, that's great. But do you think it's a mandatory thing? Like, people should do the 6 month exclusive breastfeeding? Because, why we're having this discussion is that a lot of people, like, yeah, when I was breastfeeding, and I couldn't meet my target of 6 months. Like, I wanted to do exclusive. That was the target. And all of a sudden, something happened. I have to do it. I have to stop before the 6 months. I introduced formula milk or supplement milk around 3 months. And when I start doing those stuff, fellow women around me, they feel like 3 months she's taking bottle milk. I was like you see the reaction from other women, and I was feeling, oh, have I done wrong? Is this not not required for a baby at that month? So what's your take on like these people, like people having this obligation that you need to meet up to 6 months, or even people that couldn't even breastfeed? Should they be seen as not a mother not doing the rightful, not doing the needful, please? Let me get your take on it. Thank you.
Now the thing is, for some people they are able to, for some people they are not able to. And if you're not able to, formula milk is a best alternative for a breast milk, because formula milk mimics a breast milk. It has all the nutrients that the breast milk, it's what, it is formulated to mimic proper breast milk. So it still has all the nutrients and requirements needed for the child's growth. Now, for some mothers, they are not able to. And for some mothers, they are able to. And some mothers, they do a combination of both. Whatever the case is, like I said earlier, is what works for the family, what works for the mother, and what works for the baby. Now, because formula milk mimics breast milk, I don't think it's a problem if you introduce formula milk early enough in your child's feeding. It is not a problem because it still has the same nutrients as your breast milk. And it doesn't mean that because this child was not breastfed, the child will be less than his or her parent that is being breastfed. Every child just requires the love and attention that they need for a proper upbringing. That's all that they need to grow up as healthy children. It doesn't matter the style or way in which they are being fed at the end of the day.
Wow. You really spoke well, because why I'm having this conversation with you is that I want this narrative to be changed. You understand? Because I have now understood, or I understand better, why some people couldn't breastfeed. Yes, many reasons can cause that. Some people have their reason not to breastfeed from day one. Some people have their reason to stop it the first 6 months. So I like your point. Yes, you say what works what works for the mother and for the baby. And there should not be any kind of there should not be this look down on any woman, yes, that couldn't meet up. Just look at your condition and do what works for you and your baby. So I just want this narrative to be changed because it's a whole lot. Okay, that's a very good one. Now, another question I would like to ask you: do you feel like, do you believe in the myth, yeah, that any child that is not breastfed will not be um will not be mentally strong, yes, like will not be capable like other children that are well that breastfed from 6 months to 1 year or 2 years even. Do you believe in that myth?
Yeah. Babies who are not being breastfed are destined to have health issues. That is a myth.
Yeah.
Modern formula has been designed in such a way that they meet the nutritional requirements of a breast milk.
Yeah.
So in cases where a mother is not able to breastfeed,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's a health condition for the mother not being able to breastfeed. Just like I said in my own story, that my breast milk ceases after a certain period of time. Some people are able to breastfeed. I know that my elder sister, she was able to breastfeed her son for up to a year,
Yeah.
but I can't do it because at some point my breast milk ceases. So in that case, what happens? Formula milk plays a vital role. And formula milk has been designed in such a way that they have the same nutrients as a breast milk. So when a child is not physically strong, like you said, that is it as a requirement as a result of breast milk?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Other factors affect a child not being strong physically or mentally. It could be environmental, it could be genetic, it could be access to healthcare. It could be also their diets as they grow older.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to necessarily mean that a child who is being breastfed and a child who was given formula cannot a child who, for example, is being breastfed is physically stronger than a child who was fed with formula milk. That is a myth.
Okay.
That is an absolute myth, because both form of feeding, whichever form of feeding is required for a child's healthy growth.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Okay, then before I let you go, I just want to ask this question. Do you think breast milk really hold baby to stay longer? Because there's this talk from old people. They say, oh, the breast milk doesn't hold much weight for the baby. Like before you know, the baby feel hungry again. So it's good to introduce other food as early as possible before that required World Health Organization that say, oh, you have to make sure the child is breastfed for 6 months of his or her life before introducing any other food or whatever. But some people, maybe the elderly before us, our mothers before us, say no, breast milk doesn't really hold the child, so you need to introduce food, like pap or other things so that the baby can, do you believe in that? I guess.
Well, for every child is different. Every child is different. Now, for my first child, breast milk was enough for her.
Okay.
But for my second child, it wasn't. And I have to introduce formula milk at some point. After a while, formula milk was not even enough. I have to introduce pap. So it depends on the child. There's no hard and fast rule about it. If your child, you notice that breast milk is not, enough for your child, you need to supplement.
Yeah.
And that's where formula milk comes in and other forms of supplements comes in.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And I want to ask you this personal question. Do you think you have any kind of guilt, mom guilt, during your time of pregnancy, maternity, and rest? Do you think, yeah? Because recently a lot of talks about mothers, being depressed, having some guilt. And I would like if you can share some with us and how you've overcome. Yeah.
Mom guilt. I need you to expatiate what you mean by mom guilt. Mom guilt as a result of childbirth, that the things I'm not able to do as a mom for my children, or how do you mean?
Okay, yes. So mom guilt, I mean, is sometimes as a mother you feel like you couldn't give enough. You couldn't give enough to baby. Maybe you feel like, oh, you could have given up to longer period of time breastfeeding before the breast milk stop. I'm just giving you an example. Or it can be you intentionally wanted the birth plan to go this way, but it went the other way. It can be not able to bond so well with your child based on ill health. Some mothers might have ill health when you just go to bed and so many things. Or even as a mother, life like you can't have more time for yourself. It's all about your kids. Like, is there any guilt? Like you're not living your life anymore. You're living life of the children.
Oh, obviously, I have my guilt, as a mother. Since we started this mother's journey, it has not been easy. And because I like traveling, I love traveling a lot, and I did that when I was, younger and didn't have kids. But now that I have kids, it's like I can't do that anymore. And I blame it on the fact that I have children now, because I can't just pick up my bag and leave. You have to consider them. And yeah, so sometimes I feel
You feel.
I need that part of my life back
Yeah.
and rolling all over again.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So there are so many things that mothers can be thinking about, of mom guilt. But what I would say is you don't need to dwell on that. You don't need to dwell on that. You just need to move happy because the children, yeah, they are blessing to us. They give us joy. So we don't need to feel anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously.
So I'll be running off my discussion with I want to say big thank you for coming up on this discussion and coming up to share your insights with me today. Okay, thank you, and some other time in interesting video. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you, Gloria. Yes. Okay. And please, guys, subscribe. Please do subscribe, like, share, and make your comments. I want to see your comments. It's very important. Let's reason well as a mother. Thank you and bye.